Markets make new highs. An accidental shooting down of a passenger jet? What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, January the 12th. And what's going on, everybody? What a crazy week we just came out of. The first full trading week of the new year. And wow. I mean, I guess the big story of the week was the bombing in of some of the bases, or the imaginary bombing, I guess. Supposedly they were shooting in air. Didn't come close to hurting anybody, and there was no deaths. So, but of course, obviously, we are in a little bit of a conflict with Iran, and how they accidentally shot down a passenger jet. It seems kind of fishy to me. I don't know. Again, I don't know the inside details, but certainly from my point of view, you would think that that we would know whether or not it was a passenger jet or whatever we were shooting down. So it kind of reeks of something that doesn't smell very good, right? We'll see what happens out of that. Of course, the markets continue to make new highs because nothing really matters right now. And we'll cover that in our market segment. But here we have action going on here, and of course, if you saw the action Tuesday night, we saw some major blow-off spikes in gold and in oil that look like they're now ready to reverse over, and you're having just a lot of things that are going on. You've got we're impeaching. I don't know. I'm not sure. We still can't get the articles of impeachment sent over. Another joke shown by the left side of the aisle today, again, which is why if we could just all go back down to the center and be libertarians, it would probably be a better way to be. The divide is getting bigger and bigger, and of course I'll cover some of that in my commentary later. But it certainly is becoming just totally ridiculous when we start to watch what you see and what's going on here. I mean, and the beauty of it all is that no matter which side of the aisle you sit on, they're pissing away your money. Okay, that is at the end of the day. Okay, nothing is getting done except that they continue to get their paychecks each and every week, or however often they get paid, and we get the benefit of financing it. So isn't that a wonderful way to be? So again, I don't care which side of the aisle you're sitting on, you're getting screwed either way. Okay, of course that is the political system in a nutshell to begin with. Okay, is to how do we strip the middle class of all their cash? But as I said, the markets continue to rally, and I think one of the things you have to look at, are the institutions, is the money in? Okay, is the boat fully loaded? Okay, we're seeing some excess. We're seeing a lot of cash that is flowing into the market. And yes, you're going to hear that ridiculous line of there is cash on the sidelines. And I will say what I've said all along, and that is that there is always cash on the sidelines. I don't give a rat's ass when we need money. There's cash on the sidelines when professionals, when the firms want to make markets go higher, when they want to suck in the innocent. They tell you how much money is sitting on the sidelines. That is no different than any other form of spoofing in markets. Okay, telling us that there is money on the sidelines. Again, I've been doing this since 1980, and there's always been money on the sidelines, no matter what. And China's always buying soybeans. Okay, so again, let's not get carried away. I think the big thing we might start to see, and this is a potential problem, okay, is the ending of the corporate buybacks. Okay, the firms are now, the junk bonds have become, ridiculously cheap, which means that money is flying everywhere to buy, to fund, to do all these things. And again, these are all potential warning signs. Okay, again, we are not predicting a market that will go down. We are not predicting a change in sentiment yet. What I am saying to you is that these are just, again, things to think about, warning signs that are out there, very similar to Paulson in 2008 when he came out and said the banks are safe and sound. And of course, we know they weren't. And I would wonder if today the banks are safe and sound as they tell us that they continue to pass the stress test. I would love to be able to get the real information. It'd be like trying to see if there's really gold in Fort Knox. Okay, let an independent auditor go in and look at the bank's balance sheets. That would be something. The same as they should do with the Federal Reserve. Let's see an independent auditor go in. Maybe we should call Dave, right, from the movie, Dave, when he impersoned the president and brought in his friend to redo the book. We need, they should be responsible for an actual accounting of where all this dough is going. And of course, again, you now see, okay, that there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's a strong bid for junk bonds, and you've got the overall the corporate buybacks could be coming to an end, as we said. So, where are we? Where are we going? And how long does the rally last? Well, again, what we will say to you, and of course, we'll talk about more of this in the market section. It'll last until it doesn't. Okay, again, but are we in the early stages of a recession? We talk about this almost every week, and the answer is yes. Okay. Now, again, there is no economist, okay, unless he or she has a political agenda, okay? But, of course, I'm actually, as I've stated many times, I'm actually a libertarian, but in this case, I am on President Trump's side, okay? And I will say this, that we have issues out there, okay? And of course, we continue to say that there's not issues, but there are some things that are out there. So if there's some of the economists that have a political agenda, they're saying how bad things are. Now, again, they are not that bad, but again, through natural cycles of markets, you do have recessions. And of course, the real issue here is the sweating and the brow wiping that the Federal Reserve and other central banks around the globe are doing right now, because they've basically fired all their shots. And where are they going to go now? Okay, what are they going to do if I'm right and we are actually in the early stages of recession? Because, I know we continue to hear them talk about the lack of inflation. Now, again, I don't know about you, but my bills, my costs are higher. But if I look at a big sector of what we'll call the farmers and the producers, okay, not only are they paying more for input to plant their crops and to take care of their cattle and to take care of everything else, hogs, but they're selling them for less. So to me, there happens to be a problem. Okay. And I think that this is the issue, but of course, this is always the issue that comes into play, because we've got too many people that either want to not look at it, hide from it. Okay. And again, that goes for both sides of the political aisle. Okay. Because they of course, they're more concerned with getting reelected than they are with taking care of you and me. But you've got just a lot of things that are going on out there. And one of the big stories that we talk about a little bit, but, Boeing. Now, I have a question. I believe the employees, now there's stories about them calling the 737 MAX built by clowns and monkeys. or something of that nature. And my question is where were the employees stepping up instead of letting this disaster happen? Okay, instead of letting this production go on, where were the employees that are now coming out saying that they were clowns and monkeys after 600 people dead and billions of dollars lost by some investors because this was a bad plan? Again, and I don't know if it was a bad plan or not. I don't know anything about that part of it. But I do know if the employees are now calling it built by clowns and monkeys, where were they when they were building it? Okay, that would be my bigger question. Okay, I think that is something that has to be addressed. Certainly, we know that the FAA, did not do their due diligence. Obviously, listen, it's like any other business in history. No different than Bernie Madoff. Somebody had to be helping on the inside to let all these things pass through. And of course, I still believe that somebody else is still going to jail from the Madoff era, because somebody on the inside had to know what he was doing, because what he was doing was a virtual impossibility. But in the meanwhile, Goldman Sachs is now saying, well, don't expect the returns to be as good next year or this year, 2020, as they were last year. Well, gee, we were up 28%. Would you think they might have a little bit of pullback? Considering that we average 8 to 8.5%. But again, remember everything that you hear versus financial conditions, everything that you read is usually designed to do something. It is a form of the old-fashioned word spoofing. Okay, so when some major player comes out and says that I think oil is going to $20, that usually means they're looking to be buyers. And the opposite holds true. Again, if you look at some of these upgrades and downgrades throughout the years, they're usually meant to help the person or the firm that makes that claim, to help them out of their position and dump it onto somebody else. This has been going on for thousands of years, and I don't expect it to stop anytime soon. So again, I warn you, I pray for you, I say to you, watch price action, make sure you know your exit. As we step out here for an exit and take a break, this is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, January the 12th, 2020. And boy, our football picks sucked yesterday. Woo. But in the meantime, we'll have new ones for you at the end of the show today. Let's step out for a break, and we'll be right back with more of Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, folks, we had a great webinar yesterday on hedging. And of course, if you're not hedging, you should maybe put on a big bubble for yourself and protect yourself. Because I'm telling you, and I'm not telling you when, I have no idea, but there will be a market meltdown. I am telling you that you should be hedging always and never having to think about it. But again, if you'd like to listen to the hedging webinar, it's free. I will be happy to email it to you. All you have to do is email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com, and I will send you a copy to listen to. Again, no charge. You can learn something from it. I gave a lot of pointers out, whether or not you want to be a member or not, I don't care. I gave a lot of pointers that help out those that need some help, because you need to be in the market, but you need to know how to protect yourself. Because if you're sitting in cash, basically you're just letting your cash depreciate. Cash is like cars now. They're a depreciating assets when you have these central banks in full control. In the meantime, don't forget about our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and what happened in the market segment. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, January the 12th, 2020. And, well, new highs, right? New highs. And of course, as we came into the week, you had the bombing on a week ago Friday. We had the Soleimani killing on Tuesday night. We had a bombing, which it looked like, again, the word proportional response, I don't understand that. But in the meantime, they didn't hit anything, didn't hurt anybody. It was just kind of like, I guess we'll say a warning shot. But the markets at the time did not like that. And what you saw was the Dow go down almost 400. You saw oil spike up over 65. You saw gold spike up over 1,600. And as we were in our chat room with all my traders and all my members, and I said, okay, as clear as could be, and I also repeated that early Wednesday morning at 4 a.m. on Fox Business, I said, more than likely we're going to be higher on the day. Okay, more than likely you've seen the highs in gold, the highs in oil, and the markets are going to continue to rally. And sure enough, by Wednesday afternoon, new highs, and here we are. Okay, so last week we were up, the markets were up. We are still along the markets. Again, we are not getting out. Okay, news has no effect. I could care less about the news. The only news that will matter will be the one event, which would be a major black swan event. You notice that even shooting down a passenger plane did not cause the markets to move virtually at all. Okay. And again, it's a horrible thing that happened. But markets don't care about anything until they do. And right now, all they care about is how high can they go. Okay. This isn't limbo. How low can they go? Right now, or how high can they go? And buyers flow in for numbers of reasons. Okay. But we are a little bit frothy here. Again, I am not predicting it, and I am long. So let's be clear. Okay. What I do see is there's some issues brewing. But remember, the economy and the markets are not related yet. Eventually they will come back in together. But there are times when they're so far apart it doesn't matter. So for now, we will stay long. We are not getting out. We are not going to guess. We are not going to change. We are going to stay long the indexes because that's where we've been. I mean, realize this or not, we have been, other than the NASDAQ, we have been long the NASDAQ almost the entire year with only one reversal in the year. Think about that for a minute. We've been long Apple in our equity portfolios since August 4th at $204 a share, not to mention many others. But again, my point is that the mechanical methods will tell me when it's time because we care about price action. That is it. I don't care. Believe me, I would never watch the news. And that's what I love about the summer and the spring when there's baseball on every day. Who the hell wants to watch the news? Okay? They have no idea what they're talking about to begin with. All right? You got the left news, you got the right news, you got this news. You could have a nervous breakdown trying to figure out who to listen to. In the meantime, oil did reverse. So we are now short oil. And again, I said, and I've said here for weeks, I expected to see a test of the Saudi Arabia drone bombing highs. We blew through there a little bit, and of course, we are now much lower. To me, you're looking now at a market that's going to break down into the 50s, and we might finally be on our target into the high 40s. Okay, gold, to my surprise, did not change yet. Okay, and obviously, based on the price action, it's a good thing because it kind of held. But the patterns looked very similar. But again, one didn't kind of break down yet. So we'll see. Again, we're still long gold. I mean, obviously, we benefited greatly. And of course, being a trader, I was able to, trade some on the way down. But in the meantime, I'm net long gold and will stay in that position. The bond markets, they continue to be very choppy, but they are headed lower, which does indicate, back in my mind, interest rates are going to start to edge up a little bit. Okay. Now, again, I know everybody says no, but that's what the price action. Remember, you can only control what you can control when you're the Federal Reserve. But traders, bond traders, they, if you remember, the fixed income market is the biggest market in the world by 10 to 20 times. Okay. So again, bond prices continue to fall, the futures, which means interest rates are rising ever so slightly. We'll see where it goes from there, but that's where we look there. Now, interestingly enough, we had the USDA report, the supply and demand report, and before the report came out, I wrote that corn's report would be bearish, soybeans should be probably somewhere neutral, and wheat would be somewhat bullish. And by God, out came the numbers, and they were basically exactly as we described. Now, not that I'm bragging that I did that right, but what I was trying to say is that the markets had already priced in what might be in the report. And what you saw is you saw corn drop 6 cents and then rally and close higher in the day. You saw soybeans go down a little bit and come back to around the flat line, and you saw wheat sell off just a little bit. But again, all in line with the report, which is why I continue to tell you and warn you, if you trade the news, you lose. You have no chance to beat the news because you've got the big firms out there, the big money that's already had those reports put together. Remember, if you have the money and the time, there is enough data published throughout any given cycle to put those reports together yourself. So if you're trying to beat that, you're nuts. Okay, meats is sloppy weak, but feeders look like they're breaking out to the upside. They've got that run to 150. Fats had a nice little recovery on Friday. Again, they're trying to break to the upside, hit that 130 level. Hogs have been a little bit of concern. Now, they held major support on Friday. So, again, we are still long the entire complex. Corn, wheat, beans, hogs, fats, which is live cattle, for those of you who don't know, and feeder cattle. Okay, that's not going to change. We are going to continue to, again, we stay in our positions as long as the markets let us stay there. And of course, price is continuing to let us stay. So, going into this week, we had the jobs number on Friday. It was an okay number. I mean, a little bit mediocre-ish from where we expected, but it didn't really affect the market. I think the one concern that many of you should look at, and again, I don't want you to trade off this, but I want you to be aware, because it's really me being more aware of what's happening in the market, not on what to exactly do at that time. But we have seen over the last week or so many late-day sell-off weakness. Okay, and again, they haven't been major catastrophe sell-offs, but they've been as weakness at the close, which is not as healthy as one might think. Okay, so it's either things are subtly changing over, okay, or there's some events, or traders are typically just afraid to go home along at night. We don't know the answer, but that is not a bullish sign. It is not a pretty picture to have that selling. Now, again, it will not change our positions. I want to be clear that we only trade based on our algorithms and through mechanical trading. Okay, so I don't make trades intraday versus this model anyways, because that doesn't matter to me. So I do not care what an intraday. The truth of the matter is that intraday I could go to sleep. Unless I want to trade actively. But for my core big positions, I only trade those overnight. In other words, I only make a trade the next morning once I know if the signal has changed. So that is something that I want you to be totally aware of, is what we're looking at. Now, intraday, again, I trade the blow-up pattern, and I will always trade that. But so that's a concern. Okay, there are concerns that basically they've gotten everybody in. You've got too much selling to try to continue to propel and perpetuate this market higher. We'll see. Again, for now, our positions remain the same. For now, we're buyers or we're long until proven wrong. Okay? So again, forget about the news, forget about what you hear, forget about all the political BS. It means nothing. Okay? What means something is the price action that the market shows, and that is it. It is that simple. Price action, that simple. We're going to step out here for a break, and we'll be back with my commentary right after the break. This is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, January the 12th of 2020. Well, kids, yesterday, great webinar, hedging. Again, if you're not hedging, I wish you the best. I wish you well, and I hope you have the stones to hold on the next big meltdown, whenever that happens to be. But those are hedging. You look forward to the next big meltdown because you know you're going to be compounding and prospering. If you'd like to see or hear that webinar, all you have to do is just send me an email at bubba@bubbatrading.com. I will be happy to send it to you at free of charge. Again, there's no charge. I give a lot of free education. And again, I'm on your side. I want you to do well. I want you to protect your money. And of course, please don't forget about our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with my commentary. Well, welcome back. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz. This is my commentary each and every week, and I talk about different things, and usually something political. And of course, today it'll be no different. Okay. I am a huge supporter of President Trump, and I believe that I believe he is doing one of the best jobs at trying to empty out the swamp and get rid of the crap that's out there. But what does bother me is that the major divisiveness between everybody, and everybody wants to try to convince you who you should like, versus saying that we are Americans and we should be able to like who we want. Why should you try to convince me that I'm wrong, or me convince you that you're wrong? I say, hey, vote whoever you want for it. That is the beauty of being an American. You want to vote for a socialist? Hey, listen, vote for him. I don't care. You want to vote for whoever you want. Okay, vote for Pat Paulson. Vote for Henry Gibson, right? I mean, vote for whoever you want. Don't try to convince me that my vote is wrong and your vote is right. Don't scour. If you're on the left, okay, don't scour all the left media, which is Facebook and MSNBC and CNN, and send me links telling me how bad President Trump is, because I'll go to the other websites that are on the right side and I'll tell you how bad everybody else is. This is a free country. This is America. This is what we get the opportunity to do, to make our own decisions. It's unfortunate that we have become so divided that one news station cannot handle, because even the news cycle picks the side of who they want. CNN is clearly left. Fox is center right. I mean, Fox puts on a lot of middle of the road. In fact, I think that there probably will be, before it's all said and done, a much farther right channel. Okay, because again, I think that the right doesn't have as many news outlets because of who we are. But at the end of the day, I think it's important that everybody remembers that we are free. We are Americans. There's been a lot of bad things happened over the years, from slavery to all the kind of things that happen, but we continue to grow and try to learn from them. And I think the biggest thing we should learn is that we are free. We get to make our own decisions. And I think when people finally learn that, okay, we might be really in the next step ready to go forward, instead of having these ridiculous, moronic battles on why I'm wrong to be on my side or why you're wrong to be on your side. To me, it's just dumb. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. And of course, listen, I know I had a bad day yesterday. Ooh, bad day. But we do like KC today, Kansas City, and we do like the Green Bay Packers. Okay. I can't apologize. It was wrong. That's what I call it, gambling. But I like them both a lot. Okay. I'm willing to lay the 9.5 and the 4 with Kansas City and with Green Bay. In the meantime, everybody have a great week. For those who don't get Bubba's Daily Update, we'll see you next Sunday. For those who do, we'll see you tomorrow with an update. Let's see how the markets open tonight. I would assume they'll open probably flat to higher unless something's happened that I haven't heard about yet. In the meantime, have a great weekend, everybody. As always, I thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time on Bubba's Bottom Line. Have a good day, everybody. We'll see you later.